Hey, good morning, everybody. Those that have never joined me, pre-market live stream, I do an analysis. I tell you what I'm looking at for the week, and I give out some plays. 2 Mondays ago, I gave out gold, made 155, 188% on those two positions. Last week, I gave out United Airlines. In fact, I made a YouTube video about United Airlines, $55 strikes. Mentioned I was in at $1.18. It's in the short videos. So again, if you're joining me Monday, you're lucky. I'm going to give you a good play this morning. I appreciate those that follow. Understand, last week I was 11 victories, 11 wins, and 0 trading losses last week. Well, what was the difference in my trading? Well, not only did I slow down and look for the proper entries, and I'll give you an example on Friday. On Friday, when the SPY was going up to $454 and the high of the day was 454.07, when it went to like 454.10, 454.12, I got involved with some puts. I made comments on Discord. What did those puts secure me? They secured me 65 and 75%. So again, patience is key. And I made a posting over the weekend that I will share. And then I'm going to talk about what happened over the weekend, what's likely to happen this week in the markets, what we have coming ahead, SPY ranges for today, and of course, my plays, because I plan on making money. So let's get right to it. Let me just pull that up. All right. Posting over the weekend is what a difference things made, right? Showed more patience, waited on proper entry, have a solid strategy. All of these things are going to help you. Don't paper hand a trade. Ease into a position, buy 2 contracts, goes down 2 more, 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. Then you have your full position of 24 contracts or whatever you're going for. Don't buy all 24, be down 20% and waiting for it to bounce back to break even. Instead of when it bounces back, you're all of a sudden up 20, 23% because you average down, okay? Know your exit strategy. Don't over trade. All right. Be a winner. And not only when you're a winner, feel like a winner. Don't be overly anxious to make that next trade. Let's remember all those years that I over traded. I was up 10, 12, 15,000 in the morning, and I would over trade. I'd be up 6,000 in my new position. All of a sudden, I'm down 21,000 on the day. That's a real killer. It's a buzz killer. You certainly don't feel like a winner. So not only be a winner, but feel like a winner, okay? Do your homework. Do your preparation. I mentioned some of you that saw my postings over the weekend that I was going to talk about my watch list. Stocks that could move up in a bull market, or if we have some contraction, stocks that can move down, all right? So you know, okay, the market's doing this today. Again, you have scenarios that play out, and I'll give you your bull case and your bear case scenario. But once you see it playing out, you go, okay, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I think the market's going to top out at 454. I'm going to buy puts on the spike, and these are the stocks I'm going into. Or I expect the market to pull back to 450 on open. Here's what I think is going to happen. Pull back to 450, then go to 453, and I'm going to buy calls in the following, okay? We added a watch list to Discord over the weekend, but I'm not done. Do your homework and prepare for the next day, all right? Leave emotion at the door, and I've mentioned this in a number of my videos, probably like over half of them, to use a cash account. Don't get stuck in a position where you're making a trade knowing you have to swing it overnight or swing it over the weekend, not sure what the market's going to do. I mean, you look at Mara. Mara's down, 4.5%. And that's one of my plays this week on the negative side. If the market comes tumbling down, then you're going to see Bitcoin go to 27,000. You're going to see Coinbase be at 84, or Mara go back down to 14, something to that extent. Now, the opposite could be true. Say tech is really strong this week, and we see Bitcoin spike to 33, 34,000. Okay, well, I'd be willing to jump into those positions because I already just saw Coinbase at 112. The fact that it's trading at $97 this morning pre-market doesn't mean I'm entering. It means I let the situation play out and I determine that I have 2 strategies. All right. So what's going on in the world? Oh, here's the negative aspects. Okay. The Hang Seng market, the Chinese market, went down like over 2.12% overnight. The Japanese market was up. The Nikkei was up 1.12%. So that's interesting. Japan's doing okay. China is struggling. Eurozone manufacturing PMI numbers fall to 42.7. Anytime they're under 50, that's worrisome, and it's the lowest since May of 2020. So Eurozone PMI numbers, manufacturing numbers, are the lowest since May of 2020. Well, what happened in May in 2020? Well, shit, we were all going through the pandemic, and it started in Europe first. So we were about 6 months into the pandemic for them, about 2 or 3 months into the pandemic for us. Next, Germany's PMI falls to 52. Okay, well, it's still above 50, but it's the lowest since February of 2023. Telling me again, Europe can be in trouble. And then Germany manufacturing numbers sink to under 40, 38.8. Previous was 41. Oh, sorry. Previous was 40.6. The estimate was 41. They were expected to increase. They decreased. It's telling me Europe, China in recession, US to come. So am I bullish or bearish on the market? Yeah, I think we're close to the top. I think there are some stocks that can go higher. We have earnings coming up this week. All right, AMC news. Aaron posted something last night. I dropped it on a couple social media platforms, but he's basically telling me that I believe that they're going to do an offering, that they need extra capital to survive. So I'd be extra cautious in that. Again, I love to take profits, okay? Stocks I'm looking at, yeah, I'm going to mention that one. All right, what did Friday happen on the market? Let's talk about the last 5 or 6 Mondays. Last 5 or 6 Mondays, we've seen volume on the SPY anywhere from 54 to about 74 million. So lighter days. We've seen SPY ranges last 6 Mondays about 3 points. Last Monday, it was 2.86. Dude, Matt, you always spurt numbers out. How do you remember this shit? Because I'm very good with numbers. I'm very, very good with patterns, and I remember shit. And I'm watching the show Suits, where that one dude remembers everything. Am I like that? No, I don't like to read shit. I think certain stories are bullshit. I have my own thought process, but I can see numbers and patterns very well. So when I remember, and I tell you, 6 weeks in a row, every Monday we're falling within a certain range. How does that help you? Okay, say the SPY is sitting at 452.18 where we closed out on Friday, and you say, Matt told me we're going to see a 3-point range, 2.86. Let's say we drop and we go to 250 and we find support on the SPY at 250. You say, okay, the bottom is 450, sorry. 450 exactly. You add 3 points, you're like, okay, we're going to see 453. So if we find support at 450 and we haven't seen 453 on the day, we open at 452, we go down to 450, we find support. Guess what? The market's going to fade higher. It's okay to get into calls at that point, even though I might be a bear. I know when the market's ranges are going to be, consistent with what they are. Another comment I made to somebody over the weekend. If you want, okay, so the guy always just entered out. He was just like, every trade I enter. Okay, here's a good story actually. Every trade he enters, he was like, I'm going to buy Boeing calls, let's say, but I know as soon as I buy them, they're going to go down. Okay. Some people think that they're jinxed. As soon as they enter into a trade that goes down, you think it's you. It's not you. It's the way you enter into a trade. So here's what I suggested to him. I suggested my nibble. Next time you're going to buy an option, you're going to pay $1.20 for an option or less. Let's say you're going to pay $16 for an option. It doesn't matter. Nibble, take 20% of that. $16 is about $3. Instead of bidding $16, bid $13. I bet you get that same option. You might not get it at 10 a.m., but you're going to get it at 2 p.m., at 1:30 p.m. Okay, so those are some lessons. I'm going to talk about my watch list. We can talk about my trades from last week, 11-0. I'm just looking at the Affirm calls that I was in. I happened to call the bottom. I called the bottom great, and then I exited out right at the top, right under $1 per contract. As the SPY was going up, I saw a nice volume, selling volume. And what did I say? When it gets to 454.07, which was the high of the day, I'm going to enter puts. Again, I made 75%. These are things that I look at. This is the gold trade. Remember, made 20% on that. Okay, let's add Discord right now so I can show you exactly what the hell's going on. All right, let's make me small. All right. Now, what room is this in Discord? This is the small accounts room. The reason I'm bringing this up is because Love made a posting at 10 p.m. yesterday. She showed us she's in Neo calls. Now, what do you all notice? January 19th, 2024. November, okay? October, okay? Get it? She's going out a number of months. She doesn't give a shit if Neo goes up or down today. Now, why would she be buying this? Well, she's looked at the flow sum. Here's your flow sum. Are there any open interests? There's about 2,000 open interests in puts, 150,000 or so in calls. What does it tell you? Excuse my language. It's call heavy, everybody. This should be the easiest trade. Let's look at the net premiums for the stocks. Where are puts? Puts are the zero because nobody owns freaking puts. Calls are going up. The premiums are going up. Where's the price on Neo? Well, shit, it's going down. It's having a divergence, a bullish divergence, right? It's going up, price is going down. No one gives a shit about puts. So again, this is a great longer term strategy. You don't have time to trade every day. Okay, well, she went into September, October, November, January. These are in the small accounts. Okay, what else did we add? Member watch list. We just added this over the weekend. Pretty freaking good. She showed her Neo calls. Affirm, another one. Great. So people say I don't have any money in my account, right? Look at the price of these. These Affirm 120. Okay, this is the one I was looking at. The $120 calls for January. Now, there's no freaking way a firm's going to 120. But I said to myself, let's say a firm squeezes that's at $17 right now. Let me put in $19 into my calculator. I did. Guess what those Affirm $120 calls would be, right? A firm goes to $19. These calls are now $28 each. So you're going to make 100%, and you don't have to give a shit because you're going out to January. So let's say a firm starts at 17 today, goes down to 16 today. I'm just giving you a worst case scenario. 16 today. It takes till Friday. All of a sudden, Friday, there's a squeeze on it, and it pops to 19. Boom, 100%. Let's say it takes a month, and it has to go to 20. Okay, great. You have a month. You're not worried about these positions. So Affirm, Neo, some other people added their watch lists. What could you do? You're watching his watch list. You say to yourself, okay, when this goes down and he's red 20%, 30%, I'm going to look at those positions because I know he's off. These Apple calls are off. Maybe I'll look at that. Me, I added my watch list. Palantir, Affirm, Boeing, okay? I would add Neo to that as well. Okay, so let's just get into my watch list, and we'll get into SPY ranges. Let's do SPY ranges first because I've been pretty damn accurate. Let's see where the SPY is sitting. Pre-market, let me just remove that. You all can look with me, so let me just see if I can pull that up. All right, SPY, there we go. Let's see if I can share it and add it to the stream. And let's get there. Okay, so we got TradingView up. Again, this is free. Anybody can go on TradingView. I've got the 5-minute chart. You go to the 3-minute chart. I've got a number of my stocks up. I'm looking at Caterpillar, NVIDIA, DraftKings. I mean, look at the way DraftKings ended. So I noticed this on Friday. I said, hey, there's heavy volume. Now, heavy volume end of the day tells me institutional buying. So I looked at where the institutions started getting in, and I say just under $31. So I'm going to tell myself, DraftKings today, if I can get in at $30 and maybe like 88 cents, something around this, $30.90, which is only 30 cents away. It's only 1% away. Then I could be DraftKings bullish. I could start a small position right in this range. If I go back to 5-minute chart, then I notice, hey, it could still drop lower. It could drop to $30.80 or $30.73, where I'd be adding more positions. So I'll look at Uber. I'm like, oh yeah, Uber sold out. There were a couple of different buys. They were buying here at $46. We're already at $47. I don't want any part of that. All right, so this is how I look at some things. AMD, Roblox had some end-of-day buying. I'm still not a Roblox fan. Amazon, I did like the end-of-day results that I saw there. But again, I mentioned Amazon at 125. Amazon, I think, hit 125 not too long ago. Bum, bum, where were we here? Were we hit 125 or 126? 125, right. So I mentioned that 125 is a buying area. 137, 136 was selling. 132 is right in the middle. I'm unsure. If it holds 132, it's going back to 136. If it doesn't, then it's going back down to 125. So I've got different estimations in my mind for different stocks that I'm watching. All right, but let's go to the SPY and let's give you the scenarios. You know what? We don't actually need to look at it because I told you already, last 6 Mondays, 3-point range on the SPY. So what does that tell me? Okay, it tells me, let's see where the SPY is sitting right now. Maybe that's why I went over there. Tesla, Qs, right? Meta, FCX, X. Yeah, so X, US Steel, X. Twitter just had a logo change to X. I saw someone on Twitter being like, I'm going to buy US Steel today because people are so stupid that they're probably going to buy US Steel and options on US Steel because of the symbol X, and Twitter just made a name change or a logo change to X. So interesting. I'm going to watch US Steel today. Would I put any money in it? Hell no. Okay, so SPY sitting at, we closed 452.18. We're at 452.93. So basically 453. So I say to myself, okay, here's your bull case scenario. We're going to trade 3 points on the SPY. We closed at 452.18. We're already up close to a point pre-market. So what's likely to happen is if it's going to be a green bullish day, we're going to open, get a little spike up. Then it's going to come down, and we're going to test that 452 number again. And if 452 is the bottom, all right, then we're going to raise up to just under 455. Again, another bull case scenario possibility for today. We go down, we test 451. When we test 451 and find support at 451, that's when you're buying calls. Again, you got to see volume spiking for support. We test 451, we find support, add 3 points that we're going to 454.10, 454.15, similar to Friday. So those are my two bull case scenarios. Do I think they're going up 4 points on the SPY or 5 points? Hell no. 3 points has been the range the last 6 Mondays. So 3 points. So when we get up 3 points from the bottom, I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to look for rejection. I'm going to follow volume. Now, here's your bear case scenario. Your bear case scenario is, okay, market starts out strong. We're at 452.96. Market opens up. We go to 453.50. And that's the high on the day, and we reject it, which is a lower high than we saw Friday at 454 and change. So if we see a lower high rejecting, and again, you want to look at volume, but you want to look for a single top, a double top, a triple top. It's not like it's just going to hit one top and drop. You're going to see a double top rejection, and that's when you can get into your puts. You don't want to get into your puts when it's going up, going up. I know it's going to reject because it might still go up. You want to look for rejection. You want to look at volume and see what kind of volume made that rejection. And then you want to wait for the second double top. And when you're seeing that, you want to have an idea like, okay, when I see a second double top, I'm looking for Tesla to pull back because I know Tesla's been struggling for a couple of days. So I know Tesla will ride up with the market. So those are some ways that you can trade. Now, me, I'm going to mention stocks that I'm looking at today. Again, I was 11 victories, 0 losses last week. Key to that, okay? It was my daughter's birthday on Wednesday. I took off most of Wednesday and half of Thursday because we went to a water slide park. So what did that do for me? It helped me take a step back. A lot of traders and a lot of you are probably overly anxious. It's Monday. You had a long weekend. You ended the week. Let's say, well, I made 70% last week on one of my accounts. I made 118% on another one of my accounts last week. Did I crush it more? No, but I was 11 victories, 0 losses, stress-free trading. There were stocks like or option trades where I was in Starbucks calls at $53. I got out at like $90-something. It went to $3. United Airlines, right? $1.18 in. I got out, took profit. Those went to $3. United Airlines went to $58 on Friday. Holy shit. So again, what I mentioned is try not to paper hand trade. I do it all the time. But let's talk about my watch list or stocks that I'm eagerly going to invest in, either calls or puts this week. Freaking A. All right. So first one, top of my list, Amazon. If the Qs in technology are strong, Amazon's going to be a buy the dip for me. Okay. If they decide to sell off the Qs, then I'm going to stay away from Amazon. So I would only be bullish on Amazon. I would only be buying the dips if I see good, movement that I think the Qs are going higher. Neo, I already mentioned, that would be a longer term investment. DraftKings, okay, top of my list again. It's similar to Amazon. If I think the Qs are going higher, if I think the market's going higher, then I could definitely be in DraftKings. I wouldn't be surprised. We spoke about this when it was 28. I said it could go to 30. Okay, it's at 31 now. I'm back on the bandwagon. I think it could go higher by another 10%. One of my favorites, Affirm. Why do I have Apple there? Because I have Apple to tell me gauge the Qs on the market. Now, Affirm, not one of my favorite stocks or companies. One of my favorite options to play, okay? Affirm has great movement. On the upside, you can get 4, 5, 6%, 9%, 14%. If it's crazy upside, 17%, 20% if it's squeezing. Same thing on the downside. We saw Affirm at $20, $21. Now it's back out on 17. It was at 13 before that. So you can get some good movement there. I did see someone mentioned Rivian. I saw some negative plays. Remember, I was in Rivian puts at $29. It's at 25 now. Do I want to be at puts at 25? No. But do I want to be in calls? No, I don't want to be in either. Volume is really light. So look at the chart, okay? What tells me is if you have a big inflow day, yes, Rivian can get that 8 or 10% spike back up to 27. Now, let's remember, it was at 27.16 on Friday is the high. So you'd only be looking to recover your high about another 8% higher. All right, me, that's not a kind of stock I want to be bullish in, something that went down 8%, and I'm hoping you get a spike back to where it was. That just sounds stupid. You're looking for a stock that keeps going up higher and higher and pushing new limits. That's what stocks you want to be bullish in. I had Starbucks down. Why? I mean, what did I tell you? I told you Starbucks. Look at the volume on Friday. Now, I'm just the idiot who sold too soon because I was like, Again, Friday, my options expired, so I was like, okay, I need to see volume on Friday. Now, the volume came on Friday, which kills me, but I should have bought out another week. Palantir. Why? Palantir's at $16.43. At $18, I said it could come back down to 15 and change. Okay? At $17, I said it could ride up to $20. So here's the case with Palantir. It's on my watch list, okay, because it has an outflow day. When it's done consolidating, it's going to get bought up, just like NVIDIA, just like AMD. These institutional investors that are buying these companies or those companies aren't doing it for the short haul. They're doing it for a 6, 12, 2-year, 3-year period. They think AI, artificial intelligence, chip makers are the next huge thing. Demand is going to be off the hook for every car, for every appliance, for everything. So I'm looking at Palantir as far as AI, 2 days of sell-offs. The sell-offs were lighter volume than the inflow days. So yeah, once Palantir flatlines, and I don't know, 16 was the low on Friday, so I'd be watching the $16 number today. I thought it was going to go to 15 and change, but again, I could be off 20 or 30 cents. 16 might have been the low. I'm going to see if there's inflow today. If there's inflow today, then I'm going to buy the dip. Okay. And again, I'm only looking to make one trade. United Airlines, Delta Airlines, again, really depends if it's inflow or outflow. I'm going to stay away from that one. I would rather play energy, XLE. XLE is being bought up. When XLE tops over and the market pulls back, and again, I mentioned the numbers in Europe, I mentioned the numbers in China. When the market pulls back, the XLE is going to pull back as well. And that's when I'm going to get into puts on the XLE. And I'm going to crush it because I don't know if energy is going to go up to $88 or 91 or 92, but when it pulls back, it's going to pull back 12, 15%. So I might let it go up a little higher. Where's XLE this morning? Probably at what, 84.50? Always make a guess where you think something is. No, I'm wrong. It's 84.68. Okay. So always make a guess because that tells you how accurate you're going to be. If you guess, Neo's at $11.75 right now, and it is, and then you guess Apple's at $193.22, and it is, you're like, okay, shit, I understand. I grasp these markets. Let me keep doing that. Why? Because you'll buy a stock and you'll know the underlying stock option price was like $14. Then you look at the market, you turn on the market, you're like, oh, it's up 173 points today. My $14 stock should be about $14.48. And then you see how close you got. Oh, it's $14.52. I was a little off. And that helps you gauge because the more accurate you are with your guessing and your predictions, the easier you are when you see the market going down and you want to buy calls or something. You go, okay, it should bounce here. If it bounces here, I can get into my Palantir calls or my Neo calls or my Affirm calls when I know it's going to bounce. For me, those are firm calls. When it was just under $17 the other day and I knew 17 had been a nice strong baseline for it, I bought it. Where'd it go? It went to 1663, 1695, 1685, and then it shot up to $17.40. That's my exit. Boom, 40 cents, 2.5%. Buy it went down more. I bought more options. I think I was in for like 14, 16 contracts. Again, not looking to kill it. $25 a contract, 16 contracts. What is that? $400. $400 for that trade, $400 for another trade. Call yourself a winner. Do not overtrade. Okay, let me just see if we have any questions about different stocks on the side. I don't see anybody. Now, we used to do these before. We used to mention different stocks, and you guys would say buy, sell, hold. What are you going to do with it? And I would tell you what I would do with it. No one asks questions anymore. If you don't ask questions, I can't answer the questions. Yeah, I know. I saw the ones on Rivian calls, and I spoke about Rivian before. Again, at 27 and change, I would be in Rivian puts. Would I be in Rivian calls? No, there's still downward momentum on Rivian. Again, you want to see if it's an inflow day. Then you first have to look at Tesla. I mentioned Neo. Why wouldn't I be buying Neo, even though Neo looks really bullish? Because I think it could go down more. The Chinese market was off 2%. Let's say the Chinese market falls another 2% tomorrow. I don't give a shit if our markets are strong or not. Neo would have to be red. So if it's going to be red, I think later today or tomorrow and give back that 2.5%. That's why we don't chase. We say to ourselves, okay, what's proper entry? Now, I just caught Neo over the weekend when I was doing my homework, looking at some of our Discord channels, and I noticed that Love had mentioned the positive. So again, I'm just going to show everybody one more time what Love saw there and what I now see there. So again, let's just go to, where is it? Small account alerts. Is that what it is? All right. So small account alerts. Let me just add that to the screen. All right. Small account alerts. So I go to Discord. Now, what am I looking at? Okay. So she's showing these small trades, right? January of next year, November of this year, October, September. So she has more than enough time to be correct. So again, she's not looking to see if it's going to bounce today, and she's not going to sell these today. She's going to look for Neo to run. Okay, why would she do that? So let's look at the flow. You have 147,000 open contracts. You have 2,000 or just under open put contracts. Do you see a discrepancy? Yes. What is this? About 72 or 73 to 1 in favor of calls. Okay, that's like 98%, 97%. Then we look at the premiums. Okay, premiums for calls are in the increase. Puts have not changed because no one's buying them, and the price which was up here, is now down here, telling us, okay, there's a divergence. Again, NEO's up pre-market, so I'm sorry, but that was one of my things. MRO calls. So let's take a look at that. What would I do? So if I'm looking at MRO, first thing I would do, and I'll look at that stock in a second. Let's go up to here to flows and algos, okay? Go down to the bottom. I like to look at what other people are looking at, dark pool levels, sure. So MRO. So let's look at the net flow for MRO, and let's look for the 5-day flow. Make sure you guys can see it with me. All right, so here we go. There's absolutely very little flow, which tells me that I want to stay away from this trade. I don't know MRO, but there's no one way or the other. Looking somewhat bearish. The puts are above the calls, but the net premiums are almost non-existent. So when I look what MRO is, because I don't know what it is, because I'm thinking it might be like, I don't know, oil company. Marathon Oil, yeah. Okay, Marathon Oil, $25 stock. Again, I don't like energy. I don't like oil right now. They can ride higher. I'm looking for the put position, and I guess that would be somewhat here, but there's very little volume. So that one's not really a great example, and I apologize. I wish there was more activity for yours. If you mentioned like Exxon or Mobil, similar, so you could always do something like that. Because they're so similar, Exxon Mobil, you can look at the net flow for XOM, and you can look at the 5-day flows. It's going to look bullish because oil's been ripping. The Dow's been ripping 10 straight days, right? And until this changes, all right, I wouldn't be bearish any oil company. So what I want to see is I want to see the premiums spike past the call premiums. I don't care where the price is. I want to see people buying puts. I want to see people selling calls. And that will tell me energy and oil, time to reverse. With that said, heading over to Discord right now, I'm going to give you the pre-market video. Again, if I had to make one call this week like I've made the last 2 weeks, I picked gold up 200%. I picked United Airlines up 180%, that option play. Shit. I think I would go with a Palantir. I'm going to look for buy the dip, get in around 16, and I think I could get a ride up to like 1775 this week, something like that. So that's probably the position. I've got it towards the top of my list. I don't think I want to be airlines. I might be Starbucks after what we saw Friday. And again, I have good record with Affirm. So the 3 companies I'm looking at this week to play would be Affirm, Starbucks, Palantir. Again, if I see Bitcoin and cryptos pull back, then I can hop on that train. If not, I'm going to wait for the Qs to flatline, and then I'm going to wait for the Qs to come back, Bitcoin, cryptos to come back, and I'm going to look to switch over to maybe a Mara, a Riot, or even a coin and ride some of those higher. Again, be careful, safe trading. 450 to 453, 451 to 454. Join me on Discord if you want to know more. And thanks for joining me. Thumbs up if you